Welcome to All Clear, the podcast that takes you beyond the rails. Brought to you by the team at Australian Jumping, this podcast dives into the stories, the people, and the horses shaping our sport. Whether you're a seasoned competitor or simply love the thrill of the clear round, All Clear delivers the conversations that matter. Hit subscribe and join us for a fresh perspective on the sport you love. Today on All Clear, we're joined by one of the most respected course designers in the world, Anderson Lima. Anderson is at the very top of the sport, trusted with some of the most important classes on the global calendar, including the upcoming FEI Jumping World Cup final in Fort Worth, Texas. His work spans major international venues, and more recently, we were very fortunate to have him in Australia to design at Waratah Show Jumping. Known for building courses that are technical, fair and thoughtful for both horse and rider, Anderson brings a perspective that sits right at the heart of modern jumping. Welcome to All Clear, Anderson.
Thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Can you just give us a bit of background for you? How did you get involved in what you're doing now?
Horse family. My dad's a professional rider. He's 79 this year. And he's still very active aboard horses. And so he was always a professional rider. And we were three brothers. I'm the youngest. My brother is the middle son. He was the one that got very, very, very involved on riding. I got a little bit when I was about, I don't know, 11, 10, 12 years old. I rode a lot. I never really liked to compete because my brother was way too good. And I was a little bit jealous about him riding so well. And did not have that feeling that he still having. The way that it really started, my dad was working for a very famous breeder in Brazil. And every time that we had show at home or something at home, I was always involved and I'm always doing something, helping them around. And I was always got a really capture about the exercising and the riding thing. I was always more passionate about being in the ring than on a horse. I always liked to warm my dad's horse than be in the stables. Like at the horse work ready, it was getting in the horse and just warming my dad's horse and jumping around. But that was not my passion. It was not my thing, but I was always involved in stables and this and that. I mean, couple of memories that I have in my head, like my dad was watching the VHS or sort of whatever, the videos from his events, and was me and the napkin just come back. Hey, Dad, that's the course that you're jumping. It's the course that you're jumping. It's like, oh, really? Oh, it was something like that. But one day we having a show at the farm that my dad was used to work for, and I stepped into the ring, and of course, by the time they give me a course plan, just like, hey, can you help me? So that was just the very first time that I saw a course, and I was just like, oh, wow, so this is how you guys do it, like a sketch it by hand, and that was my very first contact with real course designing. My dad was a former course designer also, but he never went for the career, and I was just always had activities at the farm, and the farm was really big. Some time of the year, different professionals were coming and going, and I was always building courses and this and that. I was just helping them around. And by the time I was maybe 16 years old, my dad was doing the show at home and I built a course for him. That was my very first time building a course. I was 16. And when I was 18, I just decided that this is what I want to do it. I was already fully deeply involved. And for me, it was just a matter of time to just work with and make a career for it. But I was really, really passionate for it.
Yeah, that's amazing that it started so early for you. So you could see with your dad on and the designers that came in that there was a career opportunity for you doing that. How did that progress? Did you just then start to do some shows for other people?
So at the time in Brazil, so one thing, I'm a Brazilian for raised and born, and I moved to Mexico a long time ago. So and now I'm back in Brazil, but I still representing Mexico. It's the flag that I choose to represent. That's very important for me to say because people say, "Oh, so you're a Brazilian, you're a Mexican, you're Brazilian and Mexico." So no, I'm a Brazilian, but I do represent Mexico. Mexico is a country that I have a really love for it. So anyways, when I did start it, by the time that I was between 17 and 19, that I was started becoming a professional, every time my dad was going to an event with his horses, I was jumping to the horse trailer and I was telling my dad, just like I'm going with the horses. I'm not going with you. I'm with the horses because I went to get that before because I have to be inside the ring. The time, thank God, my dad was my parents, my mom also was, they were very flexible with me to leave me alone and let me choose whatever I was really into it. And every time that I was going to the show, I was just jumping into trailers and just going to whatever, and then spend the weekend sleeping in stables and sleeping in trucks because this is what I really want to do it. And by the time that I was really involved, I started to offering my service to some different clubs and different friends. It's like, hey, can I go to your farm? I can build a training course for you there on Wednesday, and then I can come back on Saturday for the weekend. And then, so that was kind of my thinking. I saw the opportunity. I was really young. I was, like I said, between 17 and 19, I was already doing this. And I was 18 when I did my first seminar. And for sure, you start to build any type of courses and any type of events. And I was just moving forward, and I start to make money on a very young age. And I did saw that as a great opportunity to me, as the point that I choose to not go to university. I spoke with my dad. I was like, I'm not going waste 4 years of my life in a classroom for 5 days for whatever, and not have the chance to go to the shows. And my dad said just like, if you want to go, you go, but you don't come back this way and ask for help. And he was very, my dad is a former military, so he was very just of, you want to do this, do it, but don't come back and don't regret for it. So and so from that point, I was just, and another very good thing that my both parents said is like, so if you choose these, just make sure that you put everything on it and do your best and make every opportunity that you have the best one, and just keep going for it. And that is something that I carry into to my days, and every opportunity that I have, I just grab with both hands and just carry that with me. And my dad, so my parents, they were very, very supportive, and for that, it was it's just a progressive thing. I was really young, and it was a good timing for me in Brazil. We do have amazing course designers in Brazil. I don't have to name them, Guilherme and Marina. They are both a level four. They're both building championships, Pan American championships. Guilherme built the Olympics. Marina for sure is going to should have a great opportunity to build another Olympic. And Hélio Pessoa, Nelson Pessoa's brother, is one of the great mentors I had in my life. Coronel Pio Gilberto da Fonseca, his passing a few years ago. He was one of our great mentors here in Brazil. He was Brazilian technical team Olympics. He was one involved with the Brazilian Olympic medal. He was the only course designer by the time that he was the knowledge and be part of the team support. So Brazil was in a great moment for course designers, and for me, was just something to be involved with those guys behind them and just get as more knowledge as I could get. And Brazil was very famous about bringing course designers from around the world. And That's how I met Olaf Peterson, Frank Rottenberger, Leopoldo Palacios, Pepe Guevara, Bob Ellis, and all of those guys. And for me, it was just a great opportunity to start. And I just, again, I just grabbed that and just keep using.
That's a fantastic story and great that you're in an environment that really just helped you along your journey so well. And was there a particular show or a particular moment when you look back on your career where you thought, wow, this is it?
I think it was two very important moments. The ones that when I started to look a little bit outside of the Brazil environment as a national country when I went to do my FEI seminar in Wadendorf. I went to Germany to do it, and when I had the opportunity to meet different people and to be with them and to see how our environment could go like no limits, no barrier. That was something that I brought me in and see all those colleagues coming to Brazil and Leopoldo and Olaf and Werner D, who just recently passed, and Frank Rothenberger, and seeing all of them in Pepe Gamara. So saw all of those course designers come and going, and then see my colleagues going abroad and designing some events, and said, okay, that's something that I really like to do it. I really enjoy it. And I met Pepe, Pepe Gamara. He was Bolivian. He lived in Brazil for many years, and then he invited me. Hey, do you want to go to Wellington to be a jump crew? And I was just like, jump crew up. We're already with this. Like, I know, but you for sure is gonna be inside the main arena. You will be working with the top course designers for 10 weeks. At the time, it was 9 weeks at the time. Talking about 1990s. I was early 20s, 1999 or 98 was the very first time. And I was just like, I don't know, I don't know. And then in 2000, okay, I'm going. So when I went to Wellington as a jump crew, working in the arena as arena party, uh, and then having those guys working at the top level and the elite level and be with them and be assisting them and see how much of that a course designer can influence on an event to make I mean, Wellington is Wellington. I'm not saying this because I'm a course designer, but we have a group and a selection of riders and horses that make the sport great. But we do have a group of course designers that together make the sport great also. So and that for me was fascinating when I realized that there was kind of a click and I saw it just like a wow, I want to do this on the best way possible and on top level and that was a game changer for me, be a part of those events and especially in Wellington those weeks.
So, working across different countries and different systems, does that shape a lot of what you do today and what you've seen across different countries? They do things slightly differently and you learn something from each nation, do you?
Oh yes, for sure. So by the time I was a little bit of again, I started too early. I was 19, 20 years old when I went to Wellington by myself there for 9 weeks and first year. And then I was going to 11 or 12 or 13 weeks to be with them and be part of them environment. I was going to Europe with Frank for the summer and I did many years. I really don't remember how many weeks, but I was going at least 4 or 5 weeks with Frank every year. I was working in Frank's factory, building jumps and helping them building jumps. During the weekend, at the weekend, I was just going to the road with Frank and going any show in whatever he was going near and just be with them and supporting him and his team. And same way I did with Leopoldo and who is one of my greatest mentors in Spruce Meadows, who's going to Spruce every summer with the breaks and without the breaks, maybe 15 years going to Spruce Meadows every summer. So I'm very fortunate. I'm recently I've been working with Alan and with Greg Bodo and Jihad Lashat and Uliano. So and I keep going, and I just want to work with all of them. I For me, every time I step into the ring with a colleague from that time, 20 years ago, 25 or whatever, 30 years ago to today, for me, it's a great opportunity to just be with them and keep learning from them.
Before we jump back in, a quick thank you to Divas Beverages. Their support helps keep events, riders, and conversations like this one happening across the country. So next time you're celebrating a clear round or a great weekend away, raise a glass to the people who help make it possible. Divas Beverages. Now back to our guest. I'd love to go into the thought process and the process in general for course designers. And so when you walk into an empty arena, what's the first thing that you start thinking about? Or do you really start thinking about this way in advance? Do you go to the venue first and check out the venue in person, or is it starts on paper at the beginning?
It is a process. So first, I mean, when you step into the arena that you never met or never be there, like for me, the showcase that I'm going there, I'm trying to get as much as information that I can be from the organizers or from the writers or from the colleagues that have been there before. So just to make sure that at least the first day you get there is with the most information that you can get, so you can start to develop your ideas on the way. So you go to the safer side. You just okay, you go for the minimum that you can do it, and then your first day after you see a couple of rounds or a couple of classes, and you just have an idea how you can start develop your program for the week, and then you just go from there. It's hard. I know that some people like to work a lot in advance. I have a problem with that because I'm not that I'm very creative, but if I just start to think, okay, how can I do better? How can I do better? How can I do better all the time? So I just gonna keep working and working and working nonstop. So I like to get some ideas, but not a full thing done, and then I just got keep working the process and just keep making everything. Not that I go day by day, but the process, the creation process is just keep going from there.
'Cause I imagine that you also got to look at the combinations and the people, the horses and the
Yes.
riders in the class that you might not be familiar with if they're not, it's a new country, and that must be a big part of it.
Yes, correct. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. So it's hard to go to somewhere that you've never been with the full idea done and finish it. So you go with the an idea, and then you start to see, and you just start to adapt, and you start to progress, and you start to move on and on.
Yeah. Do you see the course as like the big picture, or does it build in your mind step by step? Do you go, right, starting at one, where am I going to? Or have you got a
Oh
big
no,
picture in your mind?
I have no idea how do I start. No, it's just like uh, I mean, I like to draw in paper, but I'm not doing paper. I'm doing my screen today. But yeah, I do. I mean, it's hard to just like one, two, three, four, five. No, I do. I just okay. I like this line over here, and then I go from there. Oh, I want to put a combination in here. Or sometimes yes, I want to start this way. I just want to have the number one right here, and then just like keep going from there. But again, it's a more of the whole the whole picture process is not just like a number one into no. It's too very organized. I'm way too unorganized for that.
I'm a photographer and love trying to capture the sport in the best light. Do you think about where can a photographer stand? Where is the crowd going to be? Where are the sponsors jumps? Things like that. Does that play a part in you putting the course together?
Sometimes we do when we can. We do work in cooperation. Okay, we'll have an example that I'm gonna give to you. I We had an event in Chicago, and it was an old racetrack, and they built the arena in one part of the racetrack, but the finish post stay into the ring, inside the ring as an island. So for the very first Grand Prix, I I made the finish line to be the post, and I put the last jump, and I wanted because I wanted to see that picture, a horse, a jumping horse racing to the finish line. So that was something that I did, and I have to find the picture, and I will send the picture, and you see it. So it was a really nice idea or something. But okay, we have a different event. We have the WEC, the hotel in Ocala. So the nicest background is to have the hotel in the back, and so we do try to find the nicest material, the sponsors material, or something like that to be that jump, because that jump's gonna is gonna have a special meaning for the event, for the sponsor, and for that. So we do think. Looks like we don't, but yes, we do. We do care about.
That's good. That's good to hear. Is there something that when you look at a course, is it just a feeling for you that this just really feels right? Like it's just what we need?
I think that's a very good perspective, good question. I mean, like me personally, I mean, I think everything's for the horse. First of all, we all are involved. The riders are involved in this, but I think to build the right course for the group, and you don't see a horse struggle, you don't see a horse showing extra effort. I think for me is that when you just like, yes, I made it, so it's good. Okay, sometimes we don't have the result that we want. Sometimes we don't have clear rounds, and sometimes we have 15 clears, or sometimes we have 20 clears. That does not mean that the class was not right built. Okay, every horse every combination can have a good day. Also, everybody deserves to jump well. If a big part of the group jumping well, okay, it's a time to stop, breathe, analyze, and see what you could do different to have a better result. If having less clear means a good result, or if have more clears means a better result. But I think I just want to see the horses jumping fine, and that's for me is the most important part. Sometimes I'm struggling. I'm just like a nervous. Okay, that's too much, or that's oh, this is too easy. And then I see two, three horses jumping, and just like, okay, that's fine. That's good. I know. I mean, for sure, our sports is very high demanding in every level. We know we are not playing with toys. It is a extreme sport. We know that everything can happen, but you when you have that feeling that okay, this is fine and this is good, so this is when I'm just like a relax a little.
I think you've spoken before about respecting the horse, like you've just mentioned, but you've also got to challenge the riders, haven't you? What does that look like in real life?
That's horrible. That's just horrible. No, yeah, it is for sure. So it is a part of our job to create that line, that fine line of respect the horse, give the horse the right treatment, and not take any extra effort on this and that, but at the same time challenge the riders to make the course tough enough or challenge enough for the rider to present them better. And it is not easy. And sometimes we do present the challenges or the courses in a different way, but at the end here, the competition is between them. If we have three clear rounds, they're gonna still competing. And the one that got a four faults, he ready fourth place, but they still having a competition. And sometimes we have 20 clear rounds. The first place gonna be the first place, just gonna have to beat another part of. So the competition did not finish if we have three clears or 20 clears. And it's never a competition between course designers and riders. in horses. We're there. We are just part of. We represent something. Represent the course that we have the feeling and the thought that that's going to be challenge enough for both of them, and we kind of step aside, and then they start to do their own competition, and it is hard and thoughtful to find the right balance for every single class. Sometimes we're in an event and we have three Grand Prix at the same day. We have a Grand Prix in the morning, we have a Grand Prix in the afternoon, we have a Grand Prix in the night or evening competition. Oh God, to make it right in one, right in two, and right in three. That's takes us a lot. And sometimes we don't have time, sometimes we don't have the manpower, and sometimes the material, sometimes the lights and everything just change it and you miss something. And that's just about click. And it's a lot to put everything there, and I really appreciate every course designer. I know how they feel, and it is something. And it's not easy, but we try our best.
So, for somebody like myself, can you explain a little bit what the key elements are that you use, I guess, to separate the field at the top level?
Like it's a lot to play with. I mean, for us, on our perspective, the material, not just the course and the lines and the distances, but even the material. Through the years, we start to realize what a horse, not that a horse can see more or less, but what a horse can respect more or less, what can affect the rider and on his thought about how the rideability can change if the rider and the horse are not able to make a true connection to a certain line. We know that that could be a couple of faults there, and then you have the massive varieties of color combination and compositions, and a small wall, a small gate, and small hurdle. Those things attract a little bit the horses in some ways, so the rider needs to be a little bit more careful and balanced in some ways. And when you put some of those combinations, for sure you not use them all, because that's like a word for a course design that we don't like to use it. It's a tricky, like, oh, the course is tricky. No, we don't build tricky courses. We build challenge courses. So we build something and to get an attention. Tricky when you have something that's not fair for the horse, and you have a big ring with a small slope, that's just the arena just go down a little bit, and you put a little bit of a distance that can help that distance become a little forward and a little shorter. And same way, same thing going up the hill. So, after a couple of days in the arena, and you start to see the material, and you start to see how the horses react, and you start to just play with that, and by the weekend you start to pray about everything goes well.
This episode is proudly supported by Mr. Breeches, and we sincerely thank them for backing the podcast and our sport. Mr. Breeches is an exclusive menswear range of workwear and competition breeches, shirts, socks, and caps. Masculine, comfortable, and durable clothing. The brand for all male equestrians. Visit their website today at mrbreeches.com. Now back to our guest. How much of the course is really decided between the fences rather than actually at the fence itself? That must be a big part of it.
Yes, for sure. The whole it's like from the point A and the point B on the turn, and on a 180 degrees turn, people just like, okay, I'm just gonna jump here, just gonna go to the jump it, and the next jump, gonna look to the jump it when I get there in front, and sometimes we really know that that's gonna happen, and then you just work with this jump that's gonna attract it a little bit more delicate or a little bit more careful jump, and that's a jump that the rider need to put a little bit more attention, and maybe that jump doesn't, the horses get more attention than the rider, and the jump is nothing. Sometimes how many times you don't see that many faults on planks anymore, because the horses itself, they start to learn how to jump plank. So and then you start to okay, how to make a plane work, and then you start to work with variability on the distances. Then when you go between A and point B, then how you go uh with the distance to make it work and this and that. So it's a lot of it's a lot of mathematics and science and on it. It's just like a crazy talk.
And I guess time allowed must be important as well. How do you use that to add to the test? Is that very much standard, or do you look at the course and go, "We'll make that travel a little bit faster," or how does that process work?
I think every main course designer today, they have their own style about how much they want to travel the horses in the arena. Okay, you talk about the big arena and small arena and the medium arena. For sure, in indoor, it's indoor. You do whatever you have to do it, and they cannot go in around it. They cannot go faster because the track. But sometimes when you're in a little bigger arena, you start to present a rhythm at the first 2 days, and I think the riders already start to realize that okay, that's his time allowed. Okay, this is how he goes, and then you start to pick up your time a little bit, but that's very personal from course designer to course designer, and I mean I've been learning through the years, and I do like the horses jumping on a little bit of our rhythm. I think the horses jump better when they are a little forward than when they're backwards. I think the jump is way more beautiful. The horses, they're just fantastic. They jump and they jump more, they jump better when the rhythm is a little bit more forward. Does that not mean that distances are forward? And that doesn't mean that I have to run into the lines or between the lines or in combination. I just need to, from sometimes point A to point B, you need to just get a little bit more extra canter and just get a balance back in balance when you are closer near to the jump.
And you've got the World Cup final coming up, and obviously all World Cup finals are indoors. And what's fundamentally different about building in an indoor to a big outdoor arena?
The limitation. I mean, everything comes a little faster for them. For sure, you just try to create the better approach for them and whatever's more comfortable for the horses and for the riders to get into the jumps. And for sure, everything comes more faster. It comes more in a balance and outdoor everything. It's completely different. In Mexico, we do have 3 or 4 of the biggest grass fields, and we always like to jump in a big arena. And I do the week 4 in Wellington, where I mean the grass field is like, 150 meters by 100 whatever 160. It's massive, and I mean everything creates and develops in a different shape. I love to design both. I think both of them, they have their own characteristic, and they create their own style of jumping. I mean, indoors for me always been one of my main passions because this is how I start to design. This where I started design in small arenas, and for me to build a World Cup final, is one of the biggest honors I'm gonna have ever gonna have in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you think about Fort Worth next weekend, what's the responsibility that sits with you as the course designer for an event like that?
Yeah, a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. I've been dreaming with for many years, and again, it's just a big honor. It's for sure one of the biggest accomplishment that I have to my career. Again, I've been doing this for a long time, and be here and be responsible for doing that. For me, it's just a very well honor, a big honor, and to have these from the FEI and for the organizing committee, for me, it's just is just something else.
Is there anything that riders might underestimate about a World Cup final track, do you think? No, you can't give anything away. Generally speaking, is there anything that riders might underestimate?
No, I mean, I've been, I don't know, maybe six World Cup finals. I did a few in Vegas with Jeremy, and I did in Vegas with Anthony. I did in Europe with Frank, and I mean, a World Cup final, it's a World Cup final. It's uh, it's a championship. It's not just about us, and like they also know that they're carrying faults. They are on the top of ranking. They dragging they dragging the faults. They dragging the points. They dragging the adrenaline about coming. So all of that at the end, it's counting for them also. And course wise, it's something they expect, and there won't be any surprises. I really don't think there's going to be any surprises. I mean, if they do the homework in searching for me, they know that I'm very a normal, conventional course designer. I don't do crazy things, and then every day, everything that I came to my career that brought me here. I don't. That's not the place that I'm gonna try to reinvent the wheel. So I just hope to have a great sport and to be blessed that week. And we have a super week there in super.
Absolutely. Can we talk about Australia for a bit now? So you came out to Australia for Waratah show jumping last year. What was your thoughts about what we're doing over here?
Oh, that's a big smile. I love it. Oh, I had so much fun. No, not just about the fan that I had. I mean, Edwina just did a fantastic job. I just love her and everything that she did that for me and everything. When so, by the way, the first time that I went to Australia was kind of last minute, also. And I got the call to go there. Ollie Peterson, he was just like, "Hey, we might need someone to go to Australia. What do you have that week?" I just like, nothing. So can you come? I said, why not? So. And yeah, I was lucky, very fortunate to be there. Show was amazing. I had an amazing group of people helping me and support me there. Again, Edwina did a fantastic job with her team and everyone there. And I do think we did had a good week there, good 2 weeks actually. And and for me was super special. And to have the opportunity to see John Valens, who is a great friend, someone that I really can work with him long ago, and to be able to be in Australia and see him there, his material and everything, that was just fantastic. And now going back, and again, it was kind of last minute, but it was just great opportunity. It just so I'm gonna have to work up final and I do the Global Champions Tour in Mexico the week after, and then I go straight to Australia. So, and yeah, it is 3 big weeks for me, three great weeks for me.
Horizon Show Jumps was founded by people who genuinely love the sport, and that shows in everything they do. What started back in 2013 as a search for better quality jumps has grown into one of Australia's leading suppliers, with their fences now seen at major events like Melbourne Royal, Equitana, and Auschamps. Horizon specialise in custom-made jumps for private arenas, eye-catching sponsor fences that really make brands pop, and a full range of hire equipment with designs that are regularly refreshed so courses always feel professional and current. And now Horizon are also building high-quality stables, carrying that same attention to detail and understanding of horses across your whole setup. So if you're looking to lift your arena, your barn, or your next event, head to horizonshowjumps.com.au. And now back to our guest. From what you've seen in Australia, how do you see the Australian combinations of fitting into the world of jumping right now?
It's very interesting. So again, I'm from Brazil. And as a globe, Australia and Brazil, we are far apart from if you can say the rest of the world. So we create our own region, we create our own sport, we create our own reality, and you start to compete in between us. And then, okay, sometimes what I think that happened in Brazil at the time, when you start to bring people from outside, that those are the moments when you start to realize that you're doing good or you're not doing good. So from what I've seen there, the simple example that I can give to you is when I was in Australia in August. That was August. Yes, yes, in August. And the last week of January this year, Jamie Cameron, she was jumping my Grand Prix. She was fourth in my Grand Prix. She was fourth? Yeah, she was fourth in my Grand Prix in Wellington. A four-star. One of the biggest and the hardest Grand Prix of the season. So we are not that far. We can compete. We can do it. We can make it. So I think the sport sometimes put us to different positions, different situations. Okay, sometimes we're not in a good picture when you're at home, but sometimes we're different perspective. We get ourselves out of the comfort zone, and you sometimes start to develop better. So I can't see anything wrong when you have something like that. I went there. I did build whatever I thought that I was supposed to be built at that week, and we had a nice result. We had a really good group of people jumping well. The Grand Prix was a was was a good class for sure. Me as a first timer there and not knowing the group, I thought that I was the right class for, and I think everything went well. And the Australians that live in abroad and the Australians that live in there, it's just complicated when you're just at home. I mean, it's the same thing happened in the different places. But I mean, Jamie, she was the true game. She was there and she went to Wellington and she was super successful there. So I don't see that you guys are doing anything wrong. I think it's the opposite. I think you guys are in a really, really good shape.
That's fantastic. What are you looking forward to for your next visit to Australia? And I guess, like, for yourself personally, but what would you also like to see from the Australian combinations when you're over here?
Oh, it's gonna be a different feeling. So I was indoor in Waratah, and now I'm going outdoor. Um, I love grass fields. I love big arenas, and I think that's gonna be something different. They're gonna be, and I think and I hope it's be very special again. And I'm really, really looking forward to.
Do you think there are any particular things here in Australia that we need to work on, say, mid future, like between now and LA? Or do you think we just keep doing what we're doing?
It's hard to say again to have horse designers and to have international officials that can bring the level up, that can give you the opportunity. I know how complicated it is to take a horse from Brazil to go to Europe, compete in Europe. Take a horse from Brazil to go competing in US, how expensive it is and how complicated it is. So sometimes it's easier and cheaper to bring a couple of those officials that's working on those circuits and bring them to Australia and them to build the real sport and but again, like the riders and the whole situation need to be turned on to that. I mean that could be something that could help keep developing the sport, but the sport is not. I mean, it's not backwards there. I mean, the Euro guys are doing a fantastic job, and I really appreciate it. I got there, and I mean, nobody was surprised for what I built, and nobody will be surprised in what I'll be building in 3 weeks there. But I think when the riders have the feeling they walk the course, it's like, okay, that's too small. that's a good thing, you know. But anyways, I think that's something that keep helping the sport moving and growing. But besides that, everything is just okay. You have the material that can be a little or here and there, but at the end, races rather than horses, they will accomplish.
Is there anything that we haven't covered today that you think it important to discuss?
Not really. I think we went to everything. For me, as you can see, I'm really passionate at what I do, and just like I can keep talking about course designing and courses and in events and officials and forces for over days. But yeah, for me, it's just a pleasure and an honor to be in the position that I am today, and I would just keep going and keep growing and just keep moving. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here, and very happy to be back in Australia in a few weeks.
It's going to be lovely to see you again. And I thank you so much for your time today to chat with me. It's really been an honor to chat with you.
Thank you.
And look, wish you all the best for the very busy weeks you've got ahead, and look forward to seeing you back here in Australia soon.
Thank you. This helped me a lot to calm down too. I'm home, I'm very relaxed. So it was a long week, but it was a good week for doing. I'm very, 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 very grateful to you. Thank you so much.